everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my December wrap-up. December was probably my best reading month of the year as far as I read the most books, more books than I read in any other month. So I'm really excited to talk about these. Some of them are new favorites. Yeah, so let's get on into it. So the first book I'm going to be talking about is Rainbow Valley by Ella Montgomery. I'm not really going to talk about this one much because I did a whole reading vlog on it and kind of talked about it there. So, but it is the 7th book in the Anne of Green Gables series, and I gave it 5 stars and I highly recommend it. Next, we have the last book in the Anne of Green Gables series, Rilla of Ingleside. This one made me cry very much. If you watched my video on this one, you know that. And yeah, this was probably my favorite one in the series. So I'm not going to say what happens or talk about it much because I also have a video on that. So there's those 5 stars for both of those. Next, I read Crazy Love by Francis Chan. Wow, I love Francis Chan's writing, and he just has a way of explaining things that you can grasp it and like makes you just sit in wonder at how amazing God is and how vast he is. Yeah. Wow. I underlined stuff in here and it's really good. I highly recommend Crazy Love by Francis Chan. 5 stars. Next, I read A Tale of Three Kings by Jean Edwards, and I was not expecting this. So obviously, I read the back and I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. Carmen talked about it and whatnot. But I read this in like one sitting, and it's like around 100 pages, maybe even a little less of the parts you actually read. But I read this in one sitting. I could not stop reading it. And I want to read it again and like read it slower and just like absorb it. But the way he tied in like spiritual aspects of the way the 3 kings, which was David, Saul, and Absalom, the way it all ties together, it was so interesting. And so there were parts I was just like staring at the book. I was like, that makes so much sense. And yeah, definitely one of my favorites this month. 5 stars. Then I read my first Agatha Christie book. I don't have the physical copy, so I'll try to put a picture up over here somewhere. It was The Mysterious Affair at Styles, and I gave it 5 stars, and I read it in one day. I was hooked, and I needed to know what happened, and I thought I was figuring it out, and then bam, at the end, you're like, wait, did I read this right? What just happened? So I highly recommend Agatha Christie, especially for ebooks. They're like a couple dollars, or I'm sure you could borrow them if you have Libby. I don't have Libby yet. I have the app, but I don't have my library card yet, so that is a goal for this year. Next, I read All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr? I don't know. Doerr? I really don't know. But this book was long. 530 pages. And let's just say it was heartbreaking. Not just the ending, which that was very heartbreaking, but looking back over this whole story, so many heartbreaking things happened. And horrible things to people. It's set in World War II, and it's about a girl, what is her name? Mary Laure? I don't know how to pronounce French names. But she's blind, and her father and She and her father have to flee Paris, and they went, where did they go? I'm not remembering all the details, but, and then there is another story about a boy, and their paths cross, and I was like, oh yay, this is exciting. And I was not prepared for what happened, and I cannot tell you what happened, but it was very sad and devastating. So it's a long one, but I do recommend. Next, I read a super short book, Hero of Hacksaw Ridge by Bhutan Herndon? I'm having a hard time with names today. But this is the story of, I literally can't remember names. Desmond Desmond Doss. And he was a Seventh-day Adventist in the war, and it's just his story about how he kept his religion in the war. And then in the back of the book, it was talking about Seventh-day Adventists, and I thought that was very interesting. And it was just very inspiring, and some of the stuff they went through, like, I was picturing it in my head, and I was just like, how did this happen in real life? So definitely recommend this one. Next, I read another Agatha Christie on iBooks, Apple Books, something, whatever that app is called, and it was The Murder on the Lynx. And oh my goodness, she did it again. Like, I had no idea what was happening at the end, and I was like, wait, you killed him? Like, what? So I don't want to, like, talk about the story because, you know, it gives it away, and I like mysteries to be, you don't know what's happening. So, but that one was definitely 5 stars, and I love Agatha Christie now. Next, I read A Higher Calling by Captain Harold and Rachel Earls. You can actually follow them on Instagram and subscribe to their YouTube channel. I had known about them for a while, and I knew they had a book, and I wanted to read it. And then when I went to Colorado and went to the thrift store, I found it. And I waited a while to read it. I was like, I don't know when I want to read this. But it was so, so good. Their story is so sweet. And hard. They went through some hard things with Harold climbing Mount Everest, and it's their story of when they met, their relationship, marriage, and then him climbing Everest and everything that they had to do to get to that point. And it was very, very good. So 5 stars for this one as well. Next, I read The Boy in the Window by Bobby Eaton. Interestingly enough, my parents actually know Bobby very well. I cannot remember if I've actually met him. I'm maybe seen him in person. I don't remember. But his story, oh my goodness. He had horrible things happen to him. He had a terrible home life. His family was just messed up. And he became a Mennonite, and he actually was preaching and doing all of this in the Mennonite community while living kind of a double life. And he never actually accepted Christ until way later in his ministry even. And it just shows him getting to the point of brokenness and finding Jesus, truly finding Jesus, and then restoration with other people. And the ending is just beautiful. Everything that was redeemed with his family and all of that. And it's so cool because now he's a blessing to, like, my mom and dad know him really well. So highly recommend this book. But there is some age sensitive stuff, so I would read it before you allow your children to read it, if you're a parent or sibling, so yes. And then the last book, Goliath Must Fall by Louis Giglio. I talked a little bit about this book in my last vlog. It wasn't a reading vlog, but yeah, I love Louis Giglio and his writing and the way he explains the giants in our life is really good, and many thought-provoking things. Yes, it was just very powerful and convicting and all the things you need in a book like this. So that was my last book. So I thought I would do a little book haul. I just bought some books off of Thrift Books, and not all of them have come in, but I think I can go ahead and talk about these. And one of these was free, actually, so yes. Are we surprised? And Agatha Christie. This is actually a collection of short stories, but it's the third... A book just fell. The third book in the series of the Poirot mysteries, which the other two Agatha Christie books I read last month. Oh, by the way, it's 2022 now. It's January 1st, so Happy New Year. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video. But yeah, the two Agatha Christie books I read in January were the first two in this series, and you definitely don't have to read them in order. I just so happened to, and I'm so excited about this. Hopefully one day I can have a collection of her books, because I know I love them. The next one, I am so excited. So if you watch my book recommendations video where I like recommended all of my favorite books, or most of my favorite books, I mentioned The Story People. I'm sure you've heard me talk about that if you've watched my videos at any time. But The Story People by Heather Kaufman is one of my favorite books ever. And I got her other book, Loving Isaac. And it is set up, like, the whole reading experience, not just what you're reading, but the whole reading experience with her books and everything is just so enjoyable. And it's set up the same way as her other book. I literally can't wait to read this. I'm probably gonna wait till February, but I might not. I'm not sure yet. Next, I got the second book in the House of Winslow series by Gilbert Morris. This is the second book. I read the first one in Colorado at Carmen's house in 2 days. Yeah. And I cannot wait to read the second one. This is like a, I think Carmen said 40 something book series. Yeah, 30 to 40. I find that crazy and also exciting because I have so long until I finish it. So excited about that one. And then the last book I received is the second book in the If I Run series by Terry Blackstock. And ever since Carmen has told me about this, I'm thinking, is it a thriller or a mystery? I'm not sure, but it's she's a Christian author, and so it's like Christian thriller, which I'm so excited about. And this is the second book, and I ordered the other two books. They just have not come yet. It's a trilogy. I'm so excited to read this. Wow. And while I'm here, I might as well mention what I'm currently reading. Last night, I was so excited. I had finished all my books for 2021. I had no currently reading books. And I started a book last night, one that I wanted to read for a very long time. My Dearest Dietrich by Amanda Barrett. Got this recommendation from Carmen. So excited. A novel of Dietrich Bonhoeffer's Lost Love. So looking forward to this one. And then also this morning I started Greater by Stephen Furtick. So there is a little book haul / currently reading. And then one last thing, I might as well just, I thought about putting all of this like these different things in separate videos, but it's just easier to do it all in one. Where is it? I thought I would share my 2022 book goals. So number 1 is to read 5 classics. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. I want to expand my classics horizon. I could read more than that, but that is the goal. So those can be rereads, preferably new ones. Maybe I should specify that. It needs to be new classics. Not sure. And then the next goal, which is probably my biggest goal, is to read 50 books, which in 2021 I hit 55, and my goal was 30. Cannot believe I did that, but I did. But I don't want to like pressure myself into reading too much because I want to enjoy the books that I'm reading. And then number 3 is to complete the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, which is a challenge that another booktuber I follow, is doing throughout the year. So I want to complete that. Also, the Brighter Winter Challenge on Instagram. I want to complete that for January and February. I also want to get a library card. That way I can use Libby, like I was talking about earlier. And, you know, if I want to borrow a physical book, there's that. I want to buy 2 people a book. So I want to buy a book for 2 people. Not in my family, like not my sisters or mom or dad or anything, but people outside of my family. And kind of going along with that is I want to do a book giveaway here on YouTube or Instagram eventually. I think that would be cool. So yeah, details to come. I don't know when. I have a whole year to do it. We'll see. And then my last one is to do monthly recaps on YouTube. I'm excited about this one because it gives me one more video idea at least. And I think they're fun. And I like watching monthly recaps. So I think that is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know if you have any other video suggestions or book recommendations. I would love to hear your book recommendations because... Any new books? No, I don't. I want new book recommendations. So, I am pretty proud of myself for reading this stack. Plus, I could probably, let's add 2 more books that are about the size of the Agatha Christie books I read. Wow. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye, guys.